to discuss the problems of the past and the present. It is said that he who does not learn from the past is doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past.
Do you mean when you keep forgetting to tie your shoes?
Certainly not. I mean, Ronnie, that, for example, the sneak attack of the Pearl Harbor should teach us to be ever vigilant, alert.
Do we learn the lesson there, Mr. T-shirt?
Yes, Georgie, I think so. We learn to be vigilant. Early in our history, we learned not to have slavery. But here is the problem only partly solved. Segregation. And here is the problem we desperately need to find the answer for. Nuclear war.
Who are you?
We are Gremlins. What do you want? We want to help you to learn from the past.
So you can work for the best possible future. We will take you to the past. And the possible future.
Excuse me, class. You may be gullible enough to believe these minute fakes, but I, you beloved teacher, am not fooled. Back to your nursery school class, you pseudo-time travelers.
Or you know what? You'll see what kind of a pseudo-time travelers we are.
Okay, hold
Help, help, I'm in the whirlwind. I can't see. I'm Nanny.
No nanny here in the farmer's cemetery, Ronnie and Georgie. Your nanny hasn't been born yet.
Huh?
We're going back in time. Back to 1884. Here we come. 1887, 86, 85, and 84. Dang, my allergies are changed again in the time change. But this time setting in 1884, we're microseconds away from time, so the natives can't see us.
I can see. This does look like the past.
It is 1884 in the old schoolroom.
Look at those strange clothes.
That's how it was in Illinois in 1884.
Look at that teacher who looks like Mr. T-shirt.
That's Mr. Shirt T. This is your Mr. T-shirt. You will notice that Mr. Shirt T and all his students were like, even in Illinois, the problem of slavery was solved, segregation existed. Here in a brief look at a black classroom, you see supposedly separate but equal. But early conditions for blacks were inferior. Notice the warm book. Looking at our original stuff, notice that even stations were primitive. No indoor toilet.
Look, not much light to read by. No computers. It was tough in those days.
Talk about talk. Watch what happens to this kid.
Everett, I saw that, you bad lad.
Oh, my poor pigtail.
Archie, the slavery problem was solved. But we're partly solved the segregation problem.
But there is a new problem in your day, a lot worse than switching and even worse than slavery was. What's that? The problem of nuclear war. Judging from your test, there are many possible futures. We're going to one of the good futures. If we vote in 1984, we're to solve your problem. Here, how it will be in 2084.
I thought we were going to the future.
This is the future.
But we're on Earth.
This isn't on Earth. This is a space platform, a permanent space platform, hundreds of miles above the Earth.
Now we're settled in. Here we are in the year 2084.
This is the classroom of the future. As you'll notice, the robot teacher and only one student. The teacher's about to teach French.
Time for your French lesson now, Spade. You must learn French.
Do I have to?
Be a good little student. Wow! Parlez-vous le français? I think he's got it. Oui. Comment parlez-vous? Très bien. If I get a little oil.
That doesn't really look like Mr. T-shirt.
Or Mr. Shorty. That is Mr. Teach, an ancestor of Mr. T-shirt. A human brain in a robot body. The body was ruined in a wreck.
You will notice that this Teach is about to teach the second lesson. Time for the history lesson now. What do you know about Earth history 1985 through 2000 AD?
Nothing.
In that case, I will give you a superpower for dose of history circa 1985 through 2000 AD. These learning pills were invented even before era based on earthworm DNA studies.
Huh?
Now even you will know what happened 1985 through 2000. Tell me.
The most important happening by far was that nuclear war was avoided.
Let's see if this bill really took. How was nuclear war avoided?
Badly too good. Terrorists exploded nuclear devices in few cities. Millions were killed by blast and fallout. But then all nations got together to ban all bombs.
But how could they do that?
Nuclear devices were placed in satellites. They detected all bombs on Earth. Then the bombs were placed in rockets and shot off to drift in space forever.
Whatever, any students, you're a real pill. I want you to.
Something's interfering with the teacher's components. Uh-oh.
What's the matter with you?
Look at Teach. Her robot mechanisms are frozen. Our time machine is interfering.
Why is BJ staring at us?
Because I see and hear you, obsolescent ancestor. I know my history. Your clothes show you're from the 1980s. We'd better get back to our own time. Here we go. Back to 1984.
To our own time. Ugh, oh no. Back to our beloved question mark teacher.
Those dumb time travelers disappeared. My beloved teacher is all right.
place is the good old USA. Tony Bernowski, youthful genius, is just finishing work on what he claims to be a time machine. His friends, Terry and Ronnie, are gathered around as Tony finishes his device.
All right, a couple more bangs on this lid, and my time machine will be ready to roll. Hey, Tony, I thought you said a couple more bangs. Well, maybe a couple of dozen.
Hey, Tony, can't you turn it off and this while you bang away?
There, it's done. The very first time machine, made by a genius.
Yeah, Tony, like your first portable microwave. And all it would do is make waves in the water.
Yeah, Tony, or like your first Packboy game, and all it would do was pack packages. Get off my pack. I mean my back. This time machine will work. Here, I'll set the dial to 2041. Now, when I press this button, everything within a 5-foot radius will go with me to the future.
Sure, we'll go to the future.
I'll show you. Abracadabra, dabra-doo. I press this button, and it's the future for me and you.
This is a test of audio and...
Oh, it's so dusty and dirty. Where are we?
Of course, the
Future? Can't be. Look at those people by the twisted tree. They're all scraggly and raggedy.
You idiot, Tony, this is the past. These are cavemen.
But I don't get it. I set the dial to 2041.
Yes, Sonny, it is 2041.
But,
Unfortunately, this is the future, your future.
but how? Yes, sure. That's how. That's what. And that's why. And your years is 2041. And I reckon it is 56 AB.
A.B. After the bomb, of course.
1987 was it, the year of the 8,000 bomb.
And this is our future. Radioactive dust, dying plants and animals. If you live at all, most people don't.
There's nothing at all we can do about it?
Maybe, just maybe. In my pocket is a lab computer. Speak less, computer. Could living beings been saved from World War III?
My figure show had but 3 more people join the battle against nuclear destruction. The war would have been averted.
Help! An earthquake! Of course. Yes, that's the bouncing of the earth. And now the earth is in revenge. And shakes a few of us that are left. I'm all shook up.
Quick, Tony, the button.
Let's see. 1985.
Quick! The earthquake's almost got us. The button.
When I get home, I'm joining against nuclear bombs.
Me, too. No radioactive bombs in my future.
Not me. Because if we disarm, the communists will blow us, the U.S., away.
No motionless mind. We're for reducing everybody's nuclear bombs.
Yeah, everybody's.
Well, in that case, I'm in.
That makes 1 person, 2 persons, And the last computer said that 3 more against nuclear war would change history. To our present, and our future won't have nuclear bombs. It'll have horses. That death rocket. But bears. And ducks. Not radioactive pollution. But living, breathing, happy human beings. Yay! The Mighty Whitham All-Stars of 1984 and 1985 the year is coming to a close. And, oh, brother. Mr. Whitham, was I supposed to read this?
This is why we're calling it a making of a film. He is going to read the making of the film, and now we'll start over. Everybody see the sign that says the Mighty Whitham All-Stars of 1985? Then we zero in on our expert announcer, who now will be reading this. Expert announcer, take it.
The Mighty Whitham All-Stars 1984 through 85 year is coming to a close. So now we're making a very important video on proof of why you should wear your seatbelt. An egg be dropped from 10 feet on cement and not break. Can a person survive a 50-mile-per-hour auto crash and still survive? These questions and many more will be answered in our video, Proof that you should wear your seatbelts.
Illinois' newly elected seatbelt law owes a lot to Humpty Dumpty and the Great Egg Experiment. In the 1930s, seatbelts had no future. People considered them ridiculous, thinking they would cut a wearer in two in a car accident. Almost no one thought that there was really anything that could be done to protect passengers. Then came the Great Egg Experiment that changed all that, eventually leading to the installation of seatbelts in all cars and the recent passage of mandatory seatbelt laws in Illinois, New York, and New Jersey. 40 other states are expected to consider similar legislation this year in these states.
The idea of trying to see Humpty Dumpty could fall off the wall without cracking came to the late Hugh DeHaven in 1936. DeHaven had survived a serious crash in World War I trainer and was puzzled why some people walked away from crashers while others were killed. He thought that there should be some way to better package people in cars and airplanes. And turned to studying one of nature's most perfectly packaged products, the egg. Placing a half-inch thick sheet of foam rubber on a concrete floor, DeHaven began dropping eggs on it, dropping from a height of several inches that they didn't break, nor did they break when he dropped from several feet. To his astonishment, they didn't even break when he climbed a ladder and dropped them from 10 feet.
switching to a 3-inch thick mat of plastic foam, he then dropped eggs from the 10th story of a New York hospital.
Okay, let's see it from the ladder. Drop it.
The experiment stopped traffic, but the eggs didn't break. That feat got him into Ripley's Believe It or Not, but more importantly, it opened the door to understanding how seatbelts save lives. Dropping these eggs allowed me to see a phenomenon and a miracle that convinced me that the things I had seen in accidents were in some way related to it. DeHaven said afterwards, what DeHaven was beginning to see was that a fragile object could survive intact when dropped from great heights. If the time it took up to stop was cushioned or slow down, the egg plunging from 10 stories sank 2 inches into the plastic foam, thereby slowing its sudden stop by a few fractions of a second. Despite the fact that the egg was traveling at great speed, its relatively gradual stop enabled it to escape unharmed.
Question, crash, injury, research. It wasn't until DeHaven continued studies on people who miraculously survived great falls that scientists and engineers began to take people packaging more serious.
Okay, drop that one. Hit the ladder, but did hit the cement. This one brings up the question of, is it cushioned enough? Pick it up, Rudy. Broken?
I don't feel it.
Pardon?
I don't feel it broken.
All right, we now go in to see what happens with people in falls if they're cushioned.
In the Haven study, well, people who fell 50 to 150 feet or more, they were like the eggs. If they landed on something that cushioned their impact, like loose dirt or a car roof that caved in, they would escape what appeared to be a sure death. In February 1983, 9-year-old Andrew Jackson experienced that miracle. He plunged 13 stories down an elevator shaft in Chicago, Houston Authority building. From that height, he was traveling at more than 50 miles an hour, and the gravitational force on his body was greater than 10 tons. But he landed on a 2-foot pile of garbage at the bottom of the shaft that cushioned his fall. His only injury was a broken right leg.
The mighty Whitham All-Stars now move outside to show you a simulated situation wearing car belts and not wearing car belts.
Research in the late 40s began to show that seatbelts do the same job as a soft surface by allowing belted passengers to come to a more gradual stop. In a car crash, there are actually 3 collisions. First, the car strikes an object such as a brick wall and comes to a stop. Second, an unbelted driver collides with the steering wheel, dashboard, and windshield.
Okay, let's see the unbelted rider here. We're moving in here. Open the door, Tasha. And we will hope to see an unbelted rider. Of course, in reality, this wouldn't be funny, but she's not used to this limousine she's driving. And an unbelted rider. Show us what happens here. Go ahead, reading.
What am I supposed to do, Mr.
Just wait, we're showing. An unbelted rider, go on reading.
Second, an unbelted driver collides with the steering wheel, dashboard, and windshield.
Go
And
forward,
third,
Tasha.
his internal organs collide with one another and with the front of his body. It is the second and third collisions that cause injury and death.
All right, move over to the other side and reread those last 2 lines because a car went by and you weren't the right place. You have to be on the side with the mic. Read those last 2 lines, and Tasha, go through that again. Go ahead.
And third, his internal organs collide with one another and with the front of his body. It is the second and third collisions that cause injury and death, making auto accidents the leading killer of persons from ages 1 to 35, according to the National Safety Council. For a person who does not wear a lap or shoulder harness in an auto, his risk of being seriously injured in a crash is 1 in 100%, and his risk of being killed is 1 in 4,400, estimates the council. In a typical front-end collision of a car traveling 30 miles per hour, a driver who is not wearing a seatbelt follows the law of motion first expounded by Isaac Newton 300 years ago. Time motion studies show that when a car hits a brick wall, the bumper, fender, hood, and frame crumple. From the moment the front bumper hits the wall and stops, the rest of the car keeps moving, compacting a total of 2 feet. As a result of this crushing action, it takes the car 1/10 of a second to decelerate from 30 miles per hour to 0 miles per hour. An unbelted driver is not so lucky. After the car stops, his body is still traveling at 30 miles per hour until it comes to a sudden stop against the dashboard, steering wheel, and windshield frame or other part of the car. Some of these objects may only give 2 inches, making a sudden stop more disruptive than that of the cars. His body decelerates from 30 miles to 0 miles per hour in only 1/100th of a second. The faster something comes to a stop, the greater is the intensity of the impact.
Let's see. People think that they can just stick their arms out in front of them and that that'll stop them. But go ahead and tell the truth. Toss to lean back and like you're just using your arms in an accident to brace yourself, okay? Go ahead.
At 30 miles per hour, that would be like trying to catch a 3,000-pound cannonball.
30,000-pound cannonball, I believe.
30,000-pound cannonball. The role of a seatbelt is to allow the passenger to ride down with the car,
Seatbelt on.
thereby avoiding those deadly sudden stops against the windshield frame or other hard objects.
Okay, let's see what happens here. Go forward in slow motion. Of course, it isn't this slow. And buckle up and go forward in slow motion. This is the point. You're buckled. Compared to not buckled, it is slow motion because it slows you down to much less, you have much more time as you go forward, and therefore the impact is much less. Go ahead, Rudy.
Trapped in, a passenger becomes part of the car's interior. He takes advantage of the 2-foot energy-absorbing crush of the vehicle instead of the 2-inch sudden stop that his body might otherwise be subjected to.
Read that last line again. You're 2 foot instead of...
He takes advantage of the 2-foot energy-absorbing crush of the vehicle instead of the 2-inch sudden stop that his body might otherwise be subjected to.
So she may get up there, but it takes a lot longer, and just like catching a ball with a glove and bringing it into you, it absorbs it in much more time and lessens the blow. Go ahead, Rudy.
That's it.
All right, this has been our story of what happens to an egg. What happens to you over here? Hold up first the good egg. We're looking for Mr. Good Egg. This is the guy who uses the seat belt, and we can get him here. And his left hole. And let's see the other person. Not a bad egg, but he made a bad mistake not wearing his seat belt. Show the other one. This is the unfortunate creature. And unfortunate you if you don't wear your seat belt. Let's see you with the seat belt on, Tasha. Yes. Again, and every time you get in the car, you're much more likely to survive in nearly every accident if you are wearing your, everybody together,
seatbelt.
Good.